President Biden just rolled out his budget plan back on March 9th, and he has decided he wants to increase the size of the ATF. He wants to give them more money. In fact, he will give them so much money that they will be 50% bigger than they were during the Obama years. And before we get into that, I want to let you know that we have a super secret giveaway going on right now. It's absolutely free, but it does end really soon. All you need to do is click the link in the description to find out which secret prize, and I will tell you the secret prize fits in a holster, which secret prize you could win. Now, let's talk about this ATF thing here. I got some numbers on the screen. I'm going to be glancing down at those every once in a while because they're huge numbers. We're talking, in the 10 digits out here, billions of dollars that President Biden wants to give to the ATF. It looks like their budget number for 2024 would be $1.9 billion with a B of your taxpayer dollars, all for the ATF. And as we know, the ATF has done some dubious things, not only recently, but in the distant past as well. They're spending that money, your taxpayer money, to basically infringe upon your Second Amendment rights. So we've seen the ATF abuse its authority all over the place. I mean, it's just one of those situations where we need to keep this government bureaucracy in check and let our lawmakers make the laws, because these ATF rules are coming down as if they are law, and they are being enforced as if they are law, and people are going to jail, and they're trying to take away our guns and gun accessories. So we just need to really pay attention to this and talk to our lawmakers and make sure that our lawmakers are making these laws, not ATF rules. Some of the things that are coming up: unconstitutional and expensive waiting periods. Okay, the Biden administration wants to use some of these funds, and I'm reading this right off of this release here, to put together these, what they call the Cornyn-Murphy Compromise, officially known as the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act. We know that expensive and extensive waiting periods do not make communities safer. These things only impact law-abiding citizens. So whenever they name something the Safer Communities Act, it doesn't mean they're going into crack houses and taking away guns. That's not what's happening. It means they're putting more restrictions on you and I when we try to buy our guns legally, to use them legally for self-defense. And honestly, that's just wrong. So we're also looking at more and more of these gun bans that make you a prohibited possessor if you commit different misdemeanors. Now, this has been creeping and getting bigger and bigger. And yes, I understand that things like misdemeanor domestic violence is terrible. And yes, we should make sure that people are not getting killed by their domestic partners. But then maybe it shouldn't be misdemeanor domestic violence. Maybe it should be felony domestic violence. And people who engage in domestic violence should be convicted of felonies, and they should lose their rights. It should not be a misdemeanor. You should not lose your gun rights for committing a misdemeanor crime. And anybody who says that domestic violence is only a misdemeanor, you're way off base. We need to get our lawmakers to change the domestic violence laws so that the people who perpetrate these heinous acts get convicted of felonies and do real jail time. We need to stop the people who are committing the domestic violence and not impact law-abiding gun owners. They're just going about this the wrong way. They're also looking at new funding for these red flag laws. Now, talk about taking away our right to due process. A red flag law where anybody can call in and say, you know what, I'm really worried about that guy over there from USCCA. He's got a lot of guns and he's kind of ranting about stuff. You should go take away his guns. And then folks can come and take away my guns because someone is afraid of what I said. That is a complete violation of our due process, allowing the government to take things from us without going through an actual due process, going through the courts and figuring it out. I should get a jury trial if somebody wants to take away my guns. It shouldn't be on the word of someone else and then an idea of an activist judge saying, yeah, I think we'll take away those guns, just to be safe. There's that word again, safe. We're going to do this to make people safe. It's not making communities any safer to infringe upon the rights of law-abiding citizens. If you want to make communities safer, go to the places where the highest number of crimes are committed and enforce the laws right there. That's my idea, but what do I know? I'm not a politician. We're also looking at the ATF trying to do something called their gun registry expansion. They're calling it a zero tolerance policy. The Biden administration intends to use the increase in funding to increase regulation of the firearms industry. This is a clear indication that this funding will be used to continue to enforce the ATF's non-statutory zero-tolerance policies to persecute and close as many gun stores as possible. So, yes, there are some people who are breaking the laws at gun stores. That happens sometimes, very rarely. Do you understand that guns, a constitutionally protected item, are the most regulated items in American law? There are more gun laws than there are laws about anything else, especially consumer products. People are buying guns to use them legally as they are intended to stop bad guys. And there are tens of thousands of gun laws on the books. And the ATF is using these laws to push legitimate gun businesses out of business, to make it so difficult for them to do business that they just want to give up and they don't want to deal with the crap anymore from the ATF. So again, these are your tax dollars that are going to fund this stuff. And interestingly enough, here's the one thing that really just bugs me. Woven into this budget proposal is a $4.4 billion slush fund, just in case the ATF needs $4 billion extra to do something that they forgot they had to do, like maybe change their mind on pistol braces or something like that. This is just squandering American taxpayer dollars. They're using your money to take away your rights, and they're doing it on an end run around the legislative process, allowing this bureaucracy to make rules that are then enforced as law, sending people to jail. So pay attention, America. Please contact your state representatives, your federal representatives, the representatives from your state on Capitol Hill, and tell them to look closely at the ATF budget and what's going on there at the ATF. There's already one lawmaker who's trying to get the ATF abolished. That will never happen. There's a big giant government agency. Thousands and thousands of people are getting paid. They're on the government dole. They're working for the government. Big government agencies don't just go away anymore. Once the government creates something, it stays forever. But we have to try to rein it in. We have to vote. We have to make sure that we're not giving this agency extra money and extra power, because this is the agency that's supposed to be overseeing the protection of our Second Amendment rights. Yes, there are laws that tell us what we can and can't do with our guns. But the fact that we get to own guns, that we get to keep and bear arms, is constitutionally protected, and we shouldn't have an entire agency out there trying to stop us from doing that. That's just wrong. So get politically active. Get involved, folks. We need you to call your lawmakers. Do you carry with a round in the chamber? Because if you don't, you need to watch this video right next to me, because it's dangerous not to, and I'll explain why. Yes, you should carry with one in the chamber.